Hey, hey, Never Fear Snake is here. Sunday Cigar Time. Greetings from St. Augustine, Florida. Once again, bringing encouragement to you from my little corner of the world. Today, I encourage you to remember your heroes. Now, this is the second time I've done this topic. About a year and a half ago, I mentioned that Hollywood movie legend Burt Reynolds had died and how he had been one of my heroes. Yesterday, Hollywood television actor Robert Conrad died at age 84 in Malibu, California. Now, a lot of you won't know who he is. I'm kind of dating myself here. Robert Conrad started doing movies and television in the 1950s. Yes, they had those things back then. Robert Conrad was a top character in a television series in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. Did maybe a dozen or so movies, but best known as a television actor. And arguably most known for his work in The Wild Wild West, television show that ran on CBS from I think 1965 to 69. Robert Conrad played James West, a Secret Service agent in the Wild West right after the Civil War. He and his partner Artemus Gordon, played by Ross Martin, one of the best television actors ever, would go around the United States. They had their own train that pulled their cart, and they would battle a variety of pretty outlandish villains. Now, if you Google it and look at some of those old episodes, probably on YouTube, you might chuckle a bit, but I encourage you to look a little deeper. That was a cool show. I mean, Robert Conrad was not really a big man, but he was very athletic. He would often have his shirt off. He had a good build. He would wear these tight outfits. He usually had a short jacket and a vest on. But man, he had a derringer up his sleeve. He had a knife in the toe of his boot. The car that they lived in, that the train would pull, it had all kinds of cool gadgets. Man, even his horse saddle was booby trapped. Just some really cool stuff today you would liken to a James Bond. Some of the characters were just very creative. One of the first dwarfs, an actor, played Dr. Miguelito Loveless, his arch nemesis, was on the show. Very forward thinking and very ahead of its time. Perhaps most in terms of the fight scenes. Robert Conrad is one of only, I think, 6 actors that was ever inducted into the Hollywood Stuntmen's Hall of Fame. He did most of his own stunts, and the fight scenes were frankly legendary. They would do a continuous shot that might last a minute, minute and a half. They wouldn't do a camera cut. You'd see Conrad dive off of the top of the staircase and land on the stuntman onto the breakaway table. I mean, he fractured his skull during the 3rd season, I think. He was really something. And as a young boy in Kansas that was not really athletic and smaller and younger than most of the other boys, I resonated with this because the actor's named Robert, like me, and I've got black hair like him, and oh, that's cool. I can relate to this guy. You know, he's beating the crap out of the guys. But later in my life, I realized that Robert Conrad and that television show is what sparked me to take up the martial arts. The Wild Wild West had some of the very first karate chops and karate kicks ever seen on television. I don't know if it gets credit for that. It would inspire me to take up the martial arts, and it would be years before I would figure it out. Now, why do I say all of this? Well, what about you? Do you know who your heroes are? Why are they important? Well, I think heroes are the spark that ignite us to allow us to become what we eventually become. I think they are necessary in our life. Maybe there's a grandparent in your life that was your hero, or a teacher, or an author, or maybe an actor. They don't have to be famous people. I think most famous people are detestable. But whatever it is, whoever they are, I encourage you, give it some thought. Go back in time. Think about those people that were your heroes. Get out the scrapbooks, the photo albums. I mean, I've been going down memory lane getting ready for this video because, look at these great Wild Wild West stuff. So I got to find the DVDs and get them. Again, I just think that they are the spark. And when we remember that spark, something in us comes back to life, and we become even better, more full versions of who we were meant to be. So I encourage you to remember your heroes. Anyway, I hope you're doing great. Hit the like button, share the video. Someone you know needs to see and hear this video. It will be on Instagram TV and YouTube as well, probably tomorrow. I will see you next week. Take care. God bless.